But look at this mess I created last night. I never got finished. I was in the middle of trying to figure out which drag star I like on what reel and all that. Oh my goodness, I know. You guys start working on, whether you call it customizing or just putting add-ons or different stuff, on your reels. Oh, that's a whole nother rabbit hole like that I don't think I've ever heard the tactical bassing guys talk about. But anyway, before we go into the other unboxing, let's talk about what showed up yesterday. We've got the new Zillion. That's it right here. Here's the old one. The only way I can really tell is because I still got the line on. That's the 15-pound line. I've got 15-pound. I don't have any 10-pound purple. I was going to think about putting purple line. I just put a little on, see what it looks like. You guys let me know that, like, too much purple, even though they're going on the purple contest rods, right, with the little purple on them, maybe too much. But I was trying to make myself like this. I've done a little switching up on the Airstream Custom, and I don't think I like that. I think I don't know if you call that gunmetal or whatever, it matches real good, right? It matches real well, and I put on a carbon fiber handle because I'm pretty sure that's what it comes with. I'd have to look in the box originally, but I don't think I like this. If you guys remember what this looks like with, well, not that handle. I think the handle I've robbed and put on that one for now. But basically, the polished aluminum look, I think I just liked it better. It kind of gave it a little more brightness, a little flash, because this is kind of fairly bright wood, and you already have the dark green. It was kind of a change. I don't know, you guys comment. You remember what it looked like. It had this star on it. Basically that same type of handle. It wasn't, it was this handle right here. I think I like this one better. I also, because I was going to put, this is you guys remember it, right? Seen this one for a while now. I thought I might like it, if I could put, now the gold would be gone too. I'll have this one polished up and put on. But I think then that's too much, like too much, because that almost has a polished aluminum look to it, right? The finish. So I think that's too much. So I don't know. I'm up in the air. I'm like, I don't even know what I want to do with this thing. Which one I want to put where or what. The only thing I've almost just talked myself into is that I want to take my remaining lingle that is pretty much stock other than the handle, and I want to do away with that drag star. I think I do want to get all my reels to either have this style, or if nothing else, that Gomex style, which is actually, they're pretty much the same. They'll have the same feel when you're reaching up to adjust your drag. This one has 6 points, and this one only 5. But this looks pointed, but it's not, because it may look pointed, but it has the, so it's easy on the hand. It's not hard to reach in, and it makes it easier to turn. Less force, right? The only thing you got to kind of watch out when you're moving your rods around, it makes it easier to knock your drags off too. So anyway, we got all that going on, and I'm going to try to wrap it up tonight because I've got Charles, I think wants to go fishing Saturday. Matt just sent me a thing. He finally got his bass boat. We've been fishing for 2 days over the weekend. Well, then last week we fished for a day also with Matt in his pontoon boat, waiting for his bass boat to get fixed. It's fixed. I've been wanting to try out. I have not yet seen live scope in person, been on a boat with one, so Matt's got that on his bass boat, not his pontoon. So I'm going to try to get a deal going with Matt on that. Now tonight, I'm going to try to drop the video. You can go back and watch the last 2 videos. I think it was part 1 and 2 because we caught a lot of fish, so I separated them up. But me and Charles were fishing with Matt in the pontoon. Then the ones coming out this week over the 4th of July weekend, fishings was me. Well, I went with Matt, and he had Hannah and Maddie with him. And that's going to be in a couple parts. We did it 2 different days, and we caught quite a few fish on the different days. So that's probably going to be 2 different videos and 2 different parts, so probably 4 videos total. Then I went out all by myself on a whole nother fishing trip also the next day, which was on the actual 4th of July day. A video I've still got to edit that'll be coming out this week. before the weekend, before I go fishing this weekend coming up, and I'm not even sure what we're doing yet. You may see me out in the boat with Matt, with Charles, who knows. I'm trying to find my knife. Let's just get to the unboxing and then we can talk more later. So, now I've seen these, and I just needed a few other things from Tacklewarehouse, so, and they did have a 4th of July sale started. I don't even know if any of this was even on sale. This is just stuff I needed. I didn't buy it because it was on sale, but I may have actually saved money because I ordered it around then. So anytime you order from Tacklewarehouse, and somewhere around here I have a bunch of stickers like that, you are eligible for a free sticker. So without further ado, let's get that stuff out of the way. Let's see what we got in here. Mystery tackle box, right? No. So I've been meaning, and I'm like totally almost out. P-Line Original. That is the line I recommend. This, I think I got the 640 yards for like $10. And I just use it as leader material. You're talking years that should last me. I don't even remember how many years ago that I bought 6, 8, 10, and 15, and it's lasted up until now. And the 10's the one I use the most, and it was about done. But so the 15's probably good until I pass away. The 8 I no longer use. I go to a 6. The 6 will probably last. I'll pass it down to the family, another family member. But anyway, that's when you use them as leaders. Let's get to what else I got. We'll just look at what we already use, but I just wanted a few different sizes. So the finesse rugby jigs in an 1/8 ounce and a 1/16 is my main, thing that I like to put soft plastics on. Any soft plastic I can get to work on these, I try to use before I go to like either the wobblehead, broken neck, or like a Texas rig or something away from that. I like to stick with my snaps tied on and then snap onto something that's a solid thing and use it, right? So I wanted to go ahead and get a few more, and I got just a kind of random colors, black and brown and whatever. So I got 3/16 and a 1/4 because I think we're going to be fishing, and we already fish in some waters that I feel like if I had a more weight on those, especially with the zinkers, they'll get down there faster, and I can work them a little bit differently, and they'll stay in more, contact with the bottom. So I ordered just a few of those that I needed, and I actually already, as I ordered, I realized I probably need to get more of the 1/8 ounce because I think I was only down to like 4 of them. I think I'd start out with like 3 packs of them or something. I know. I go through some stuff sometimes. So then, since when I went fishing with Matt, he'd asked me, I was like, yeah, I've seen them. I hadn't used them. I've actually seen them in person, but still hadn't actually bought any and used. So I figured I'd give it a shot. 13 Fishing, the Jabberjaw. Because Matt claims that he does real well. I don't know about this color. That's just the color I picked. That I think should do real good in shallower water, typically a little clearer water. I think that color may work good. So I got the regular Jabberjaw. Now he said they also made, and he showed me the longer one, which I hadn't even been paying attention, that they make one that even goes deeper, right? So this is called Jabberjaw 60, and then they make a 60 that goes 7 to 9 foot. So my thoughts were, this is your typical, shallower square bill. This would be your kind of a square bill, so it should get in and through wood, like say better than what a wiggle wart or something would, but roughly this should be like in wiggle wart type territory, right? Or similar. So shallower water, get a little bit deeper, but I did go with this color just since if it's going to be a little bit deeper visibility, the light penetration's a little less, go with a little brighter, just to try them. I have no idea how well I like these, just kind of a test for me. You guys know how I am with my square bills and a lot of my cranks and stuff, right? So I want to talk real quick about what's coming up other than the fishing trips I was just talking about. Nobody's even on or talking anyway. There's 3 of you watching. Nobody's saying nothing. Say hello. So I tried to look up and get the, is it the Kestrel? Whatever that new Cast King is that has a weird name to me. I've seen it in pics. I've watched, the real test, and there's another guy that I have no idea what language he's speaking. It's definitely not English. And they're all just showing pictures and talking about it. I haven't seen one in person. Somebody posted on BFS Fishing on Facebook that, they showed a picture and like, what questions do you guys have on this reel? But I haven't yet to see a video of anybody actually taking that reel out and fishing it and what they think of it. I think it's Kestrel Elite. My thoughts are just looking at it, and a few pics I've seen that I think are an actual picture of the reel. I don't think I'm going to be super impressed with it. But what I did do, thanks to, and you guys have seen him here in the comments on the live streams also, and down below videos and comments, Brew Tank Outdoors messaged me this morning like 5:45. I was just pulling up at work, getting ready to go in, and I looked at my phone, and I'm like, he had sent a thing like, there's only a couple on Tacklewarehouse on Digitaka right now, talking about the Aldebaran 22s. So I jumped on there. Sure enough, it said only a few in stock. So guess what? I bought one. I got one coming. So thank you again, Brew Tank Outdoors, for giving me the heads up, because I've been looking since since Digitaka listed them on their site. I've been looking, maybe not daily. I admit sometimes I skip days. It's not like a life or death situation that I get an Aldebaran 22, because I'll be honest, I probably end up not liking that reel just for the fact that it's got that big dial sticking out, right? But we have one coming. We have one on the way, and I want to say Digitaka's, my price was like $287 shipped. So it's way cheaper than anywhere else, but I've had to wait like forever for them to get in stock. But I'm imagine at some point in time there'll be a little area where everybody will be able to get them, and then they'll be discontinued and there'll be something new out. And I'm actually hoping that it's sooner than later and they redo that reel and change up something, because before I even get the reel, now I may love the reel, because if you remember right, this reel right here, okay, this reel right here I got from Eugene, and I will give a shout out again to Eugene for the scale and for giving me deals. I bought a few different things from Eugene now. Never met Eugene in person. He's definitely a stand-up guy. If I buy something from him, I send it PayPal gift or whatever, and never had an issue with Eugene. But if you remember right, I bought this reel, which this reel's going to Charles. Charles bought this reel. There's a Silver Creek. Charles still owes me money for it. I haven't seen Charles since he said he wanted it. So we got the Silver Creek going to Charles, and there's a spool. I sold him the MK9. Haven't given him that spool yet. But I tried to make myself like this reel, and it's an awesome reel. Works fine. For me, it's a no dog. I found out that this reel I didn't even really plan on buying, but Eugene gave me a deal on both of them, so I bought it. I love this reel. It's the older Alpha's frame, and just something about it. Here's an Alpha's Ito AI that I do not like near as well as I like that reel. I've been debating about getting a spool and gears and all that, because that's like a 7.2 gears and that crazy shallow spool. I added a drag clicker, didn't have one, I added one. I added a drag clicker in this one, and I'll be honest, I should take this drag clicker and trade it, because it is, I think they're about the same now. At first, yeah, they're about the same. That one didn't sound as good, but now, so I don't have to switch it. So you guys comment. I know Jay, he's like, keep it, and I should get a different spool. But I don't know, something about it. I don't like this reel as well as I do that reel. I love that reel. So it's a possibility I get this Aldebaran. I may love it and not want to get rid of it. But as of right now, I honestly wish that Shimano would have taken this platform, because trust me, they've done it before. I wish they would have taken the Corrado platform, gave it the magnesium frame, maybe changed just a little bit on it, and turned that into their new Aldebaran. And I don't really know if going real small on a spool is the way to go, because as of right now, my best casting spool that I like for the lightest stuff is actually none of these BFS reels. It was actually the Zillion with the Chameleon spool. I like it. It's loud with that crazy loud bearing, but I just like that and because it's a big full-size spool. I like this spool because it's still bigger than, but I like this reel too, Dark Wolf Ultra. So the Dark Wolf Ultra is coming. I bought it like a week before I did the Aldebaran 22. I got the other Dark Wolf Ultra coming though, and we'll check it for the springs. If you guys don't know about that, they got a spring issue. So before I get out of here, and I'm going to try to wrap this up tonight, and I'll probably do another live stream this week. You'll see what I ended up, musical drag stars, which drag star ended up on what reels and what do they look like, the finished deal. I've got them all, almost all of them more or less apart, trying to switch them around. That's the only downside to Shimano's. Like, you can't, the handles I can switch. You got the little adapter piece and you can switch handles around. But when it comes to your drag stars, they pretty much, and almost all Shimano's are different. Like the Aldebarans, the Corrados, and I believe the Conquest. Like the drag stars are almost specific to each style of reel. Like it's insane. I wish Shimano would just go like almost everything I've seen so far in AliExpress, Abu Garcia, and Daiwa have the same threads and a lot of the same stuff. Now I guess this part could be it's bigger or shorter on one, or smaller, and then sometimes it could be a little short, but a lot of that stuff interchanges, and then all the handles have the same hole. So let's talk real quick about the Casking Kestrel. Is that how you say it? It's basically named after a bird, and it's just because it has a K in Casking, with the K's, right? Now I watched the reel test video on it, and I was not enthused. Charles had talked about it. The first person I heard mention anything about it was Charles. I put it in the video when we were fishing on the pontoon boat. He's like, "Have you heard about the new?" And then he started telling me about it. I'm like, "No, really? $200 for a Casking reel? Get out of here." So anyway, but once I watched the reel test and I looked it up, I was like, wow, this possibly, it had me interested, not for $200. But then what has me interested for $200 is once, and I'll give reel test his dues. He was the first one I've seen that showed the blow up other than going to Casking's website. I caught his video first that showed how the brakes are set up. And it's not the fact that they're still using the Shimano style, right? They got the brake drums, and they're not really the round little magnets. They're like one solid magnet. It looks almost like a brake pad. Brake drum, but brake pads like what you'd have on your car, like one solid little chunk of magnet here, one on the bottom, and it still does, it works up and down, or I guess I should say on this side. So when it comes up, magnetic force, the force, however many rotations, when you really get that spool moving, I guess the pull brings the brakes, pulls the springs, brings them out, creates more braking, slows down, it goes in, slows or releases some of that force. The magnets get further away from that spool, which gives you less braking. That's how the dynamic magnet works. Magnetic system works. So everybody's pretty much been copying Shimano. They claim the Dark Wolf Ultra to fix either to fix what they thought were faulty brakes, because everybody put out videos showing you got to add magnets to get them closer to the spool. Was just, I guess, I haven't seen one yet that's like that. I've just heard hearsay, right? Charles says his buddies is, and a couple other guys, and a YouTuber said it, that they just fixed them. They don't move. There's a mod you can do to take Corrado springs. You can order through Shimano, and you can put springs back in there. But I'm taking it. They fixed them all the way open, but they could have fixed them just down. I'm not 100% sure which way they fixed them. But either way, that's probably not a good thing. But I'll be honest, if mine comes fixed, I'm going to cast it. If mine comes and those brakes don't, move, I'm going to put it in a cast test right against the one that does move with the magnetic fix and just see how it's a possibility. You may not need what we thought we needed, the exact copy of what the Shimano's does. It may work just fine. We'll try it with like a 1 gram trout magnet, 1/4 ounce bait, and just, if it's fixed. If it's not fixed, I'm going to do just what I did. I'm going to put the magnets in it, and I've got 2 of them that, work like they should. Let's see if somebody's commenting. Why don't I use spinning reels? Eugene. I've only mentioned it like 100 times, Eugene, back in the day, in the old, when I first started the channel. Yeah, and Nate commented about the YLT. Yeah, Nate, were you the one to tell me about the brakes on the Dark Wolf Alter? You may have been the first guy that mentioned it. You said yours had to be done. Now, you says Nate's talking to me. Says it come fixed in the outward position now. Okay, but do you have a left or right-handed reel? Because I'm not sure. I have yet to hear of a right-handed, unless yours is right-handed, being fixed. Because Charles, like I mentioned, just got one a couple weeks ago. Okay, Nate's saying his is right-handed and it had fixed, so it would have been just like this, and it has fixed brakes out. So we'll find out, like on mine, if it's something they stuck with. What I'm curious is, were they just trying to fix the brake issue they heard about, or was it like a patent deal that maybe Shimano threatened them, so they're like, oh, they just fixed it, and then Shimano can't get them because it doesn't work the same way the Shimano does. Same thing with Cast King making theirs look different. So yeah, it sucks to hear that as far as them being fit. It's like with the Lingle. Awesome little $70. It's 79, but you could always catch it on sale for like 70, 71 or $2. I don't think I paid 79 for any of mine. I think one was 74 and the other one was 71. I got my Dark Wolf Alter that's coming was like $61 on that sale. It just sucks. Those are awesome reels for, that price range working like they did. Lingle can't even find it except for the Ling Long, which is $100. So they've added like basically $30 to that reel, and nobody else carries it. I don't even know what any of that's about. And then they're saying this is fixed now, but then all these are popping up all over in the Black Knight 2 version, frame version, same basic reel, but then they changed the brakes. I don't know if maybe they caught on that's something they had to do, but they could add, then they can offer double spools that way. As long as that breaks out here, they can make one real narrow, super deep, super shallow, whichever way they want to go, and the brakes just go on the outside. You add the little plate to the edge of the spool, which I guess that's not bad, because these are still, the way they palm and stuff, but this palms better than even the Black Knight 2 just because it's a smoother deal. It should palm better, maybe not than the new Aldebaran. It palms like smoother than the older Aldebaran because it had that point on the deal. The only reel I found that palms better than this reel is the Corrado. Corrado Scorpion BFS, or the, what is it now, the SLX BFS, are going to be your best pretty much palming reels ever made. They just palm way small. Now they 22 should. I got it coming. We'll find out. The Kestrel. Okay, I'm all over the place. Back to the Cast King reel. What made me super excited about seeing that on the blow up was the fact that, now they may have gotten it wrong, the fact that it does have two different types of springs in there that will let the brake system move. One, the traditional, those pads are going to come up and down, right? And then this one over here, right, it's going to move this way. Here's what, just looking at that diagram, in my mind they got it wrong. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, because like I talked about, when that spool goes real fast, what should happen is what I take it is happening with Shimano's or any of the copies. The magnetic force kind of pulls those springs, can't hold it all, so that's why they're designed real light, and it just opens it up when it's going super fast. Gives you more braking to keep you, so let you make a pretty hard cast without the spool overrunning. So it kind of catches up. Then as the bait slows down, you need less braking, so then they go back, and so it lets it get its full, potential chance of going as far as it's going to go. And they only go in so far, and then you just adjust it in or out to fine tune it where you need those be, how much of those magnets are interacting with the spool. Now but that's the only way they move. Now with the Kestrel, what I'm guessing is what they were trying at, I don't know if they did it or not because I don't have one in hand, is not only when you say you cast as hard as you can, not only do these come out, but this maybe lets it go in even further. Okay, does that make sense? So when you turn your dial and you turn the brakes up, you're basically pushing that thing further deeper into the spool. So if these springs are set in a way to where they keep this thing out, and so when you cast super hard, maybe they found out that those magnets want to be pulled in also. And so these stiffer springs out here let that happen to a certain extent. Here's my theory and why I got real excited when I saw that. If that's what's happening, if that's the way it works, it's basically taking this SV boost type technology and using it on BFS, on the Shimano system that was already out there, which could make for a very, 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 very excellent casting BFS reel that will let you throw it pretty much as hard as you want to, because that'll jump in, those jump out, and it really breaks it hard, but then it backs back down, then it goes to its normal all the way out, then goes back from there. So gives you those stages of braking to help you in a cast, because that's what the SV Boost does. I don't even know, but it's all on the spool now. There's no doubt in my mind they've already got the Steez Limited with the shallow spool is already like their first, probably a very, because this is pretty much a BFS capable spool, and that shallower spool one on the Steez Limited should be even better. But so, and I haven't even checked this one. This is out of the new one. So yeah, it goes so far and then gets a stiffer spring in there. So I'm hoping that's what that new Cast King, because I don't care who comes up with it first. If Cast King does it and that does work, trust me, other companies will catch on to that and you'll be seeing that. But what all Daiwa has to do, or actually, if you're listening over in China and you guys make the chameleon spool, all you have to do is that with that chameleon spool, design it so that a little light spring barely lets it go out, and then just even a little bit lighter spring, or a touch stiffer but lighter than what, because this is designed for bigger baits, thicker line, right? This has got a pretty strong spring that kicks in. You got to throw real hard. But like, especially when I'm out there throwing the 3/4 ounce rattle traps and stuff, I feel that's what's happening. I've got the brakes, like I fish 15-pound braid, and I have this brake on this thing all the way down to like 3. Can you guys see that? It lets you go way down. You don't have to have a lot of brakes, and I think that's what helps get a lot of casts. I like the way this thing casts. So anyway, I'm pretty sure that's what their attempt is. Did they get it right? I don't know, because, and as Nate was talking about the YLT, they make the tank, and if you guys remember the Nebula, it looked like a Steez Air knockoff, and I sold it to Charles. But if you remember right, that when I did it and took it apart, the magnets on the outside, they were spring loaded. The problem is I think they were the wrong way. Like, you could push them in, but they just stuck out. They were out here and they pushed in. And if that's the way the Kestrel thing is, like it's only, like the magnet, you can only push it out. The springs will let it pop out, but its normal mode is here and it can't go in any further. I think that's going to be, it would be the opposite of what you would want. Because you don't want, when you cast super hard, you don't want that force to push anything, because I don't think it would push it away. So I don't know. It'll just be have to one of those things you have to see. And the only way to really test it to see is like, is that thing even working? Would it be go in and fix it where it can't move? Kind of like we're getting ready to test if mine comes with fixed deals on this. And you could do it with any of your, it wouldn't take a lot of something, either stuff something under your springs, underneath the pad, just to make it where it's stuck all the way out, and test that versus letting it free float, or same thing with the spring loaded system. If you guys have that YLT one and it moves, you could always just, I don't think you'd want to push all the way away, because I bet you wouldn't have no brakes at all then. I think that was just kind of a gimmicky thing. I think thing they just added on that YLT. I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I got a lot of this to do. My mind's got to work and focus on this. If you guys have any questions, drop them down below, and I'll try to answer them. Be looking forward to, we're fishing on a pontoon boat. Like, it was basically me, Matt, Hannah, and Maddie. So we kind of, there's always some competition when you get out bass fishing between you and your buddy, or if there's, Boys and girls in a boat, it's always like, oh, we can't get beat by a girl kind of thing, right? I know. So anyway, stay tuned, watching those videos. One's going to drop tonight, and then see if me and Matt got beat by girls. I ain't gonna lie, I'll give you a little spoiler. Right off the bat, it looks like we're gonna get beat by girls. So anyway, I'm out of here. I planned on shaving down some of these handles because, where's it at? This handle came off the, I think at the moment, that fill right there I like a little better than these. But now I'm not gonna take them all the way down, but I might make these a little bit smaller. Probably won't do it this weekend. I still need to get all these. I plan on all my reel rods adding this some kind of bait keeper other than this funky. These things are like, in my honest opinion, they're kind of like a joke. They're just, you could use them a little bit. Even the good ones, these kind of already getting cracked out, the O-rings, but I've popped them off, grabbed like they are. You need a solid fixed deal. I have some laying around. I just haven't broke out the thread and glue to put some here and there on some of my. I've got like enough laying around off older rods to rig them up on all my new ones. All right, guys, stay tuned. And also see what I'm playing musical reels on which one's going to end up on which rod for sure, because I do have the. I haven't ordered the powerful, and I may hold off and just see how well I like this sharp, how stiff it feels. If it feels like stiff enough, like as stiff as the 13 fishing rod, I probably won't even mess with the powerful. But if it's just a touch lighter than that, and I'm thinking that 7'3" medium heavy will be still usable, stiffness for me, because I don't really like any true heavy, medium heavies or heavy rods. I just do not use them. I just don't. I'm not around big enough bass enough to the time I'm around. I will catch occasional 5 and 6 pounders, but not that many in a week or month. We did good this spring. Like I went on a tear, but during the summer, not a bunch of just a few chances in the fall to get on a few big fish. I don't want to go with a heavy, medium heavy, or heavy action rod, casting it, fishing it all day long, and catching little dinks, just waiting on a big one. Right? Catch the biggest fish possible on the smallest rod possible, but we still within range. We want to get the good hookups and get the catches and all that. So I still got to do this too. Oh my goodness, I still got these Jackie Hamos that I've got to get a couple of them turned in so I can have a black and blue with the gold blade, and the other colors I think will be here before the end of this week. I've got a couple new colors coming from they came from a different vendor store off AliExpress. So I got to get that done too. Oh my goodness. I got off work late tonight. I got like extra 3 hours in. I start work at like 5:45 is whenever Brew Tank Outdoors messaged me. And I get off work till like 5:15. So it wasn't a 12-hour day because I don't really technically start till 6, and I got off at but it was like 3 hours of overtime day anyway. All right, guys, get out, go bass and bonsai, but whatever you do, make sure you have fun doing it. I'm going to have fun getting this stuff back to organized, and I still got to put line on that one. Because as of right now, before the other rod will not make it in, so we're going to still have the Zillion on a 13 fishing rod with 15-pound test. We're going to have this on the Quick, because the Sharp's not in yet, with 10-pound test. And then the Corrado will maybe go to the Teton. And then, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Stay tuned, guys. See you later.